Hello and welcome to Win Some Loosemore. My name is Dieter and I'd like to take a strange couple of little videos. I say strange in the sense that this is a channel all about board games, but I'd like to talk about apps on the phone. Now this is linked to board games very clearly, I'd like to spend a couple of videos, this one talking about board game app versions of board games, and then second one talking about app integration within board games. Now, board games are great, they're really fun, but I like video games as well. And one of the main forms of video games these days is mobile phone apps. This is where a lot of people spend a lot of their time just sitting there. I do this as well. There's just lots of little apps, games that you just sit there fiddling, just fills a nice bit of time. Some of them are just the kind of repeated action, harvesting, fighting type things. Some of them are actual, say, larger video games or first-person shooters that go on there. What I'd like to talk about are board games that have then been turned into apps on the phone. This has been an increasing trend over the last few years. Particularly a company, Asmodee, have now got Asmodee Digital, which include games that they wouldn't even publish the physical copies of. They're the people that power the app versions. And I'd like to talk very quickly about 3 games that I have the apps of that cover kind of different categories of how I feel about it. So this is more just a talk through than anything else. I'll try and put up screenshots from my phone so you know what I'm talking about in this video as we go up. Hopefully I've been able to do that. But for me, they kind of do 3 different things. I've tried a few others and I've settled on the ones I've got now, but I've tried a few. And there is a large number of them, and the example I'll use is a game called Neuroshima Hex, which I've actually never played the physical copy of, but always interests me. It seems like an abstract hex-based tactical. You take it in turns to place out where your units are, line them up. There's a weird line of sight thing, which way they're facing, who they're going to attack, and then you resolve the attacks various through. You do this, I think, 3 times over the course of a game. Now, I downloaded this as an app because the game excited me, and I thought it would be something I'd really enjoy. I played it a few times on the app and just didn't like it. Now, I still think I might enjoy the actual game. It still seems something that would appeal to me, but what I didn't enjoy, because I didn't have that moment of sitting down, going through the rule book, the thing I normally do, set it up, figure it out, and then have somebody else, either who knows the game, to teach me through that, or somebody else at my level figuring it out, where we could make the mistakes together and figure it out and refer back. Now that's long for a lot of people. They don't like that. They want the app just to take care of that, and I totally understand that. I'll come to that in a bit. But I was just rubbish at it, with no real reason other than I was against AI, they know the game, it works a particular way. I was still playing on the easiest level, but because it just doesn't give you the opportunity to figure it out. Board gamers generally are quite nice people from my experience, and if you play against them and you've made a clear mistake because you're new, they might go, I wouldn't do that, maybe think about this thing, here's an extra piece of strategy, here's a tactic you might like to think of. And the app just gave no option for that. And so it was just quite inaccessible. It was clearly designed for people that knew the game, were good at the game, and wanted just another way to play it. And as a new person to that game, it didn't really work. So that's one of the types where I think are just inaccessible, whichever one's the English one, inaccessible, but particularly for new people to the game. I think the app was designed well enough, and there's other ones of those I won't talk about, but the app's just not very good. There's that. Now, I do have a game on my phone that I will only have on my phone. Now, there's a mechanic within board games called deck building, where you start off with a certain hand of cards, and then as you go through, you purchase new cards to go into your deck, you shuffle it through, so you're constantly making a bigger and bigger deck as the game goes on to be able to accomplish whatever it is. Now, this is a game called Ascension, this particular one that I'm talking about, and again, I like deck builders. It's a game that appealed to me. The artwork's really interesting. I know some people like it, some people don't. It's a bit divisive, but it was a game that I just didn't want to spend the £20-30 to get if I'm the only person that's going to like it in my household. Because it looks that kind of thing. I'm not sure Kirsty would like it that much. And so do I want to spend that money for something I'm either just going to get rid of straight away, or is just going to sit there and not really be played, hoping one day that someone will play it, even though we've got many others to be playing. But what I really like about the app version, it's very quick. With the deck builder, because it's cards, you would have to construct all the different bits on the board, separate everybody's cards, shuffle them through, do all the things. And it's probably, I don't know, I've not played it, I think it's like a 40-minute hour game. And that's great. But I can have a full game of it. It's a free download, but you can pay for the lots of expansions that have appeared over the years. But just the base game I'm talking about, I can be done in 5-10 minutes. Because you set the speed of all the AI players, or you can do it as pass and play. And so I do this, I pass it to you, you do your bit, and it goes back and forth, and it does the shuffling for you, it does the setup for you, so it's completely random. It's not, I did a bad shuffle, so there's all the cards that you need and none of the ones that I need. It's all done for you. And this particular game, you're trying to accrue different types of points by killing things and by collecting cards, and so it does all the maths for you. And so it's something that I have enjoyed and I've really enjoyed, and I think Kirsty might do the pass and play thing with me, but I now have no desire to go and buy, which is a shame for the publishers because I've spent no money. I might spend 80p or something and get one of the expansions, I haven't decided yet. But it's cost me nothing, I've been able to enjoy the game, and it's stayed on my phone because it's I like deck building and it gives me that experience without having to do all the work. And so that's something that's gone really well, but maybe not for the industry, because I've not given it any money now. I've enjoyed it, it's good. So that's the second category. One, I've tried, I'd want the game. The app doesn't work or appeal to me, I want the game instead. This one, I've tried the app, and I'm happy to have the app and never play the game. It fills that hole for me. I'd struggle to recommend it in any of our videos in the same way because I've not played the physical game to know what that experience is like. But as an app, great. I'd say look it up, find it, it's good. And then the third category I think is going to be a much smaller category, and I currently only have one example for this. Is a game called Onitama, which is a game that I've wanted for a couple of years. It's a very clever looking 2-player game, kind of chess-ish, in as much as you're playing on a grid. I have 5 pieces, you have 5 pieces, but all of the movement is dictated by cards that once I've played it, it then goes into the other person's hand where they could play it, and we're trying to either capture their big one or move to their home space. It's a clever little game. And the production looks really cool, but it's always been just that slightly little bit too expensive for me because the production's good. It's a neoprene mat, I'm pretty sure, and there's some pretty chunky pieces. Like it's worth the money, but there wasn't enough game for me to justify that. And so I've downloaded the app, and I really like it. I really like the app. The gameplay is exactly what I thought it would be, exactly what I'd imagined. I've really enjoyed playing it, and yet, and this is why it's going to be a really small category, I still want the physical game. Playing against the AI on this allows me to get used to the game, allows me to get better, going through the different, what do they call, difficulty levels, there you go, and trying out all the different cards, because you only ever play with 5 in each game, but I think the box comes with like 16 or something, I'd have to check that. Allows me to try all these things out, try to think about it, get better, understand the strategies, understand the tactics within each game. I've now got these 5 cards, how do I use those to achieve the 2 things? And yet I want to share that with people, and so I still want to go spend the 20, 25, 30 pound, depending on where you get it from, physical copy, because the production looks good, and it's just a really clever game that I would want to play with people. So that's a really small category of games that I have as an app, have tried as an app, love as an app, but still want the physical game. Now, there may be other ones you have tried, so I'd love to hear any thoughts in these 3 categories that you may have experienced down in the comments. So apps that you've gone, no, I don't like the app, I prefer the physical game. apps where you've gone, this replaces the physical game, I don't need the physical game anymore, and ones that can coexist. I like the app but also want the physical game, or you can get app versions of games you've already got to do it in different ways. That might be something you enjoy. I can't remember. There's a Carcassonne app, I'm pretty sure. There's more and more come out. Ticket to Ride definitely has an app and those kind of things, and I've played Ticket to Ride via a console, I think even. Is that true? I might have made that up. I have that somewhere in my head that I've done that. And it would take care of some of the bookkeeping for you, and I'm sure that's great, but I like the physical copy of playing down the pieces. That there's a satisfaction in physically doing these things. So it might be card games are the ones that it's better. It might not. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I'll do another video talking about app integration. That will come out another time, but thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, do put them below. Do subscribe to this channel if you don't already. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you stay notified of new videos. You can follow us on Facebook, we have a page. On Instagram, I'm trying to figure that one out and putting more stuff on there. You can follow us on Twitter at @WSomeLmore. We will put out new videos as we have been doing, and we hope you join us for them. I've been Dieter for Some Loosemore. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.